Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's all doing well. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And in today's video, I want to talk about the possible heavyweight title fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Filip Hyrgovic. Obviously, I was definitely hoping to see Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk next, so that we can have, one heavyweight champion and see who the guy is in the division. However, the IBF has mandated Filip Hyrgovic and said Usyk will probably need to defend his title against Hyrgovic next or be stripped unless they can work out some type of deal with Hyrgovic where they pay him some step-aside money. But from what I'm hearing now, Hyrgovic is not interested in stepping aside, but everybody has got a price. So hopefully they can work out a deal and we get to see the big undisputed fight and get one world heavyweight champion and see who the best guys in the division. However, if that's not the case and we do end up getting Filip Hyrgovic and Oleksandr Usyk, this is a great fight still, and one of the many great fights that we can have in the heavyweight division. Hyrgovic, in my opinion, is a very tough matchup for Oleksandr Usyk, and I think it'll be a very awkward stylistic matchup. Obviously, it's an orthodox fighter versus a southpaw, but Hyrgovic is a very smart and technical boxer with being 6'5", 6'6", and a man that knows how to fight tall and fight big and control the distance and control range. It's going to be a very tough out for Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion. Now, it is a winnable fight, obviously, for both guys, but in my opinion, it's a very tough fight to pick. I think Hyrgovic is a better natural boxer than Anthony Joshua. I think he is a better boxer than AJ, just in terms of being able to control distance. Now, AJ is a very explosive puncher, probably a bigger puncher than Hyrgovic, and a dangerous fighter. But in my opinion, Filip Hyrgovic is a better technical boxer than Anthony Joshua. I think he has better feet, better footwork, faster feet. I think he's able to control distance better, and he's a combination puncher as well. Like I say, maybe he hasn't got quite the one-punch power of AJ, which he also might, because Hyrgovic is a very big puncher as well. So, very dangerous fighter, in my opinion, and a tougher matchup than Anthony Joshua was for Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion. I think in this fight, Hyrgovic is obviously going to look to press the action, being the bigger guy. I think he's going to try and make Usyk feel like a cruiserweight again. I think we will see him press the action, but press the action, smartly and from the outside, keeping Usyk on the end of his shots, right on the outside of range. Hyrgovic is very good at doing this. Now, he is coming off a fight where he didn't look very impressive against, Zhang. But in my opinion, I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think Zhang is a very hard puncher. I think this surprised Hyrgovic, and he got Hyrgovic's respect early in the fight. He also, he dropped Hyrgovic early in that fight with that right hook, which, made Hyrgovic, have to fight, a different fight, and he was having to be a little bit more cautious. Also, I think Hyrgovic's stamina, which is questionable now, was shown up in that fight. Both guys' stamina is questionable in that fight, Zhang and Hyrgovic, but that could have also been due to the conditions in Saudi, with both being very big men. It was very hot out there. I'm not sure where this fight's going to take place. It will probably have an effect. I mean, if it takes place in Saudi again, we might see Hyrgovic struggling again with stamina. And I do actually think he will struggle in this fight with stamina, because Usyk fights at a much higher pace than any other heavyweight, or most other heavyweights. So I do think this is going to be a challenge for Hyrgovic. However, if Hyrgovic is able to get Usyk's respect and control him on the outside, then, the fight is, going to be much easier for Filip Hyrgovic if he can do that. However, that remains to be seen. But yeah, he didn't look impressive in that fight against Zhang. However, I'm not really going to judge him too much off of that fight. But that is something to take into mind, that his stamina, could be an issue in this fight. But like I say, Hyrgovic has all the physical advantages in this fight, with him being the taller, bigger, heavier, probably harder puncher of the two as well. That creates, some tough dynamics for Oleksandr Usyk. But he is also a guy that's used to fighting bigger men, or he has been anyway since moving up to heavyweight. And we've seen him do well, being able to use his lateral movement on the outside, using his great legs, moving around on the outside, and then using his feints to be able to create opportunities for him to jump in and out the pocket, land his shots, and then get back on the outside. So in this fight, I expect to see Usyk trying to use that tactic as well, using his lateral movement on the outside, using his feints, and then trying to hop in with shots, land hard shots on Hyrgovic, then get back on the outside and control, or back to safety on the outside of range. But like I say, Hyrgovic, in my opinion, he has better legs and feet than Anthony Joshua, so I do expect him to be able to keep up with Usyk a bit more and apply that pressure from right on the edge of distance where he's landing hard shots. I remember back when he fought Amir Mansour. Now, I know Mansour is no Usyk, but he's a shorter southpaw as well. He was able to, use that jab, lead right hand, and also lead left hooks from the outside, that swinging, swooping left hook, and control Amir Mansour on the outside very easily. Now, it's going to be much harder to do that with Usyk, but that's a similar, size type southpaw. So it's a fight that I did go back and have a look at, and Hyrgovic was able to apply a lot of pressure from range, using his jab, that lead right hand, straight right hand, and that left hook from distance. So he knows how to fight southpaws, obviously, does Hyrgovic. But with that being said, because Hyrgovic, he does remind me of the Klitschko brothers, and in particular Vitaly Klitschko, being a guy that's able to control distance. He's got that low lead hand, very relaxed style, able to, lean back out of range and then land counter right hands and stuff like that, similar to Vitaly Klitschko. But Usyk has experience against this style. Obviously, I think he sparred Vladimir Klitschko quite a bit, and according to Johnny Nelson, Usyk was getting the better of that sparring session. Usyk is a master boxer. We saw against Anthony Joshua was another big guy with a similar size and style, I guess, to Hyrgovic. He was able to use his feints, use his jab. He was out jabbing the bigger man, and using his legs and feints to get in and out, and then get back to safety on the outside, and use his movement to stay out of harm's way, and then jump in when he wants to. So it's a tough fight for both guys, because like I say, Hyrgovic is a very skilled big man as well. Great boxer as well, Olympic pedigree, both men. And like I say, Hyrgovic is more aggressive than AJ, in my opinion. I think he's going to take more risks than AJ and apply more pressure, let his hands go more. He's a combination puncher as well, with power. So that's not going to be easy for Usyk to neutralize in there. But I do think Hyrgovic might actually have some success early in the fight, using, his height and his range and combination punching. But as the fight starts to wear on, I think I can see Usyk taking control of the fight, maybe making, some adjustments, as well as using his, great motor and great gas tank to kind of wear Filip Hyrgovic down, who, like I said, has questionable stamina. And Usyk, he's the type of fighter that has a great motor, and he doesn't ever let you rest in there, because even when he's on the outside moving and not looking to attack, he'll be using his feint game to kind of keep you on edge and keep you having to react and defend. So there's no real rest when you're in there with Oleksandr Usyk. And he's got, the faster hands and faster feet. He is at a size disadvantage and physical disadvantage in this fight. However, we've seen he has the boxing IQ and boxing skills to overcome this. And like I say, with his stamina and gas tank, I think it's possible he may be able to stop Hyrgovic late in this fight. If not, maybe just outwork Hyrgovic late in the fight, kind of like Hyrgovic did with Zhang. He was able to outwork Zhang down the stretch and was able to win a decision. I can see that also being being the case in this fight, where Usyk's just able to outwork Hyrgovic and win a decision. However, I actually think the stoppage is probably on the cards. If Hyrgovic starts running out of gas, I think Usyk will be able to put the pedal, to the metal, and put the pedal to the floor and get the stoppage in this fight, because we saw in that Zhang fight how badly Hyrgovic was struggling, and that was a very slow-paced fight. Very slow-paced fight. Both guys were gassed, and you had Hyrgovic was leaning on the ropes. He couldn't breathe. He was almost falling over. He was so tired. If he comes into the fight in that type of shape against Usyk, I think Usyk will get the stoppage, because Usyk will use body punching, using feints, and just fights at a much higher pace than Hyrgovic is used to. However, if Hyrgovic can kind of hurt Usyk at some point in the fight and get his respect, to where Usyk now becomes a little bit gun shy to force the pace and get in and out the pocket like he wants to, then Hyrgovic can slow the pace of the fight down and maybe control the distance and win the fight, on points, or possibly even hurt Usyk. But I don't see that really happening. So yeah, that's how I see the fight playing out. I think Hyrgovic is going to come out and try and, impose his physical size and use his size to his advantage by, being aggressive, being on the front foot, pressing the action, throwing combinations, but trying to keep Usyk on the end of his shots. I think Usyk's going to be obviously looking to try and use his lateral movement, try and box from the outside of range, and then look to get in and out using his feints and his, great feet, land his hard left hand. That's how I see the fight playing out. I think it's going to be a very tough stylistic matchup for both guys. I think they both are going to have success in this fight. However, I think with Usyk having the better gas tank, and being used to fighting at a much higher pace and going 12 rounds more times in his career, being a world champ for so long, I think that is going to play to Usyk's advantage, and I think Usyk will be able to either stop Hyrgovic late or win a decision. That's how I see the fight going, guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are in the comment section below. I think it's a very good fight, and like I said, I won't be mad if this is the fight we get instead of the Usyk-Tyson Fury fight. I won't really be mad, because I think it is going to be a great fight. Two really good heavyweights. I do rate Hyrgovic. I mean, if Anthony Joshua was still world champ, and when he was world champ and Hyrgovic was coming through, I had in my mind that Hyrgovic was probably going to win a world heavyweight title at some point. But now with Usyk and Tyson Fury as the two heavyweight champs, I think it's going to be much harder for Hyrgovic. But he has, a good solid chance in this fight. But like I say, I'm going with Oleksandr Usyk to win the fight either by a late stoppage or on points. I think his stamina is going to be, the difference in this fight. But let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on this fight in the comment section below. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.